Hello and welcome to Better Body Movement. This class is designed to help you start feeling well.
I have less pain, really literally eliminate that pain.
I just feel better.
I can tell that my posture is changing.
Bright light in the day when we've done our workouts online.
It makes me feel so good about myself.
Oftentimes, I have clients come to me and say that they feel like they have ribs that are out. This is caused by muscles creating undue tension on the ribs and vertebrae. The first muscles to focus on when we do our work is the latissimus dorsi. This muscle originates from the bottom 6 thoracic vertebrae to the sacrum, then spans past the lower 3 to 4 ribs and inserts in the humerus. Start with a foam roller placed on the thoracic spine. You're going to begin by pressing your elbow up to the ceiling and then dropping down to the floor. I like to imagine holding a tray on my elbows that I'm pushing to the ceiling and then relaxing to the floor. Repeat this for 7 to 10 repetitions and then move on to overhead extension. While on the thoracic spine, starting with your palms towards the knees and arms straight, extend the arms overhead, pointing your thumbs towards the floor. To intensify each side, simply roll over onto one side. Try to relax in the tender points. Complete 7 to 10 repetitions with a foam roller in 3 different parts of the ribs. Now we're going to work the erector spinae and transverso spinalis. These muscles line your vertebrae on both sides. The erector spinae is deep, yet even deeper are the multifidus and semispinalis. The deepest muscles connected to the vertebrae are the rotatories and in the low back, the intertransversarii. Start with 2 lacrosse balls and place them by the neck. The lacrosse balls should be touching as you begin to roll your body up, forcing the lacrosse balls down your spine. Do this slowly. You should only press further if you can fully tolerate your body pressure on top of the lacrosse balls. It could take anywhere from 30 seconds to 1 minute before that muscle relaxes. Then you can press with the lacrosse balls down a little bit further. You may need to work gradually through this because your muscle will be so tender you can't tolerate all of your body weight's pressure into the lacrosse balls. In order to create a greater release, do not rush this. It should take cumulatively close to 15 minutes to work your way down the entire spine. Oftentimes, I have clients come to me and say that they feel like they have ribs that are out. This is caused by muscles creating undue tension on the ribs and vertebrae. The first muscles to focus on when we do our work is the latissimus dorsi. This muscle originates from the bottom 6 thoracic vertebrae to the sacrum, then spans past the lower 3 to 4 ribs and inserts in the humerus. Start with a foam roller placed on the thoracic spine. You're going to begin by pressing your elbow up to the ceiling and then dropping down to the floor. I like to imagine holding a tray on my elbows that I'm pushing to the ceiling and then relaxing to the floor. Repeat this for 7 to 10 repetitions and then move on to overhead extension. While on the thoracic spine, starting with your palms towards the knees and arms straight, extend the arms overhead, pointing your thumbs towards the floor. To intensify each side, simply roll over onto one side. Try to relax in the tender points. Complete 7 to 10 repetitions with a foam roller in 3 different parts of the ribs. Now we're going to work the erector spinae and transverso spinalis. These muscles line your vertebrae on both sides. The erector spinae is deep, yet even deeper are the multifidus and semispinalis. The deepest muscles connected to the vertebrae are the rotatories, and in the low back, the intertransversarii. Start with 2 lacrosse balls and place them by the neck. The lacrosse balls should be touching as you begin to roll your body up, forcing the lacrosse balls down your spine. Do this slowly. You should only press further if you can fully tolerate your body pressure on top of the lacrosse balls. It could take anywhere from 30 seconds to 1 minute before that muscle relaxes. Then you can press with the lacrosse balls down a little bit further. You may need to work gradually through this because your muscle will be so tender you can't tolerate all of your body weight's pressure into the lacrosse balls. In order to create a greater release, do not rush this. It should take cumulatively close to 15 minutes to work your way down the entire spine. Oftentimes, I have clients come to me and say that they feel like they have ribs that are out. This is caused by muscles creating undue tension on the ribs and vertebrae. The first muscles to focus on when we do our work is the latissimus dorsi. This muscle originates from the bottom 6 thoracic vertebrae to the sacrum, then spans past the lower 3 to 4 ribs and inserts in the humerus. Start with a foam roller placed on the thoracic spine. You're going to begin by pressing your elbow up to the ceiling and then dropping down to the floor. I like to imagine holding a tray on my elbows that I'm pushing to the ceiling and then relaxing to the floor. Repeat this for 7 to 10 repetitions and then move on to overhead extension. While on the thoracic spine, starting with your palms towards the knees and arms straight, extend the arms overhead, pointing your thumbs towards the floor. To intensify each side, simply roll over onto one side. Try to relax in the tender points. Complete 7 to 10 repetitions with a foam roller in 3 different parts of the ribs. Now we're going to work the erector spinae and transverso spinalis. These muscles line your vertebrae on both sides. The erector spinae is deep, yet even deeper are the multifidus and semispinalis. The deepest muscles connected to the vertebrae are the rotatories, and in the low back, the intertransversarii. Start with 2 lacrosse balls and place them by the neck. The lacrosse balls should be touching as you begin to roll your body up, forcing the lacrosse balls down your spine. Do this slowly. You should only press further if you can fully tolerate your body pressure on top of the lacrosse balls. It could take anywhere from 30 seconds to 1 minute before that muscle relaxes. Then you can press with the lacrosse balls down a little bit further. You may need to work gradually through this because your muscle will be so tender you can't tolerate all of your body weight's pressure into the lacrosse balls. In order to create a greater release, do not rush this. It should take cumulatively close to 15 minutes to work your way down the entire spine.
Okay, good morning. We are set and ready to go. So remember, today is a core day, so we will just be on the floor doing the core routine. Remember, you don't have to know everything right away. I am here to teach you and instruct you along the way. So thank you for being here. Remember, if you have not yet subscribed, please do just push the little subscribe button down right underneath the video. If you have comments or questions Also, leave a comment. We are able to help you here as much as we possibly can, and that's the whole point, is to provide exceptional training free of charge in order to help you move well so you live well. Okay, we start every day with our iDedicates. It's just a dedication of individuals in our lives that we should be praying for, spending time thinking about. And, so we dedicate this hour of time, or close to an hour of time, to these individuals in prayer. So that would be Lori's mom, who's doing dialysis 3 times a week, Ethan in his stage 4 liver and bile duct cancer, and just praying for his wife and children through that process. My friend's wife, who was diagnosed with breast cancer, they're treating that naturally and seeing pretty good results. So it's no worse, and improving just slightly. So that's always a good thing. Sky Toyne, big praise through that. She is doing fantastic. Still on several medications, so that's going to be the thing that we're praying for her, is as they reduce those medications, her body continues to do well through that process. So building of strength and endurance, all those things are going to come with time here. Praying for Cheney. Did we get to talk to Mary?
No,
nope.
I didn't.
Okay, so Cheney and Kira still praying for those two through their medical needs as well. Our verse of the day: blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Matthew 5:8. Beatitudes. We like those. All right, let's jump over to our workout. So remember, just get set on the ground, knees bent, just nice and easy, about 90 degrees is what we want. We're going to start with pelvic tilting.
3, 2, 1. Pelvic tilt.
We perform an appropriate pelvic tilt by first starting with a Kegel. So compress the pelvic floor really tight. It's like you're cutting off going to the bathroom. And then compress really hard, thinking your low back has a Dorito underneath there, and you're going to crush that Dorito really hard. Okay, so it should create a nice firm squeeze. What we're trying to avoid through this compression is the urge to crunch. Okay, because through our day, as we stand tall, we don't want to be in a hunched over position, right? So I don't want to train that in your core movements. I want to train core stability for your lumbar spine to learn how to create a nice neutral spine and be able to hold that through the day, okay? Again, firm compression,
2,
nice and tight.
1. Prepare for pelvic tilt with knee fallout.
Okay, tilt with fallout. Okay, so again, as you do this, core compressed, really,
3,
really tight.
2, 1. Pelvic tilt with knee fallout.
Squeeze firm, 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 firm. Knee out, bring it back up. Okay? And again, as we do this, I do not want, as your knee goes out, for that hip to the pelvis to roll on the floor, right? So your pelvis on the floor should be nice and solid. You should just be rotating right at that hip joint, out and up, out and up.
That's halfway.
Good, good, good. Again, doing your absolute best. Core compressed, firm, firm, firm. Good. Core compressed, tight, 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 tight.
3,
Squeeze
2,
firm.
1. Prepare for pelvic tilt with adduction.
Good. Tilt with adduction. So remember, compress that core, squeeze your knees together, release the knees, keeping the core tight, then release the
3,
core.
2, 1. Pelvic tilt with adduction.
Okay, Kegel, crush the Dorito, squeeze those knees, release the knees, keep the core tight, then release the core. Okay, so your core should stay tight. That pelvic tilt and spinal compression should be tight through the entire thing, right? When the knees both contract and relax, core should stay tight. And the hard part actually on this one is trying to perform that Kegel through the entire movement. So make sure as you relax the knees out, you're still compressing that pelvic floor. Okay? can be really tough because when you release those knees, it's like everything just wants to let go. Okay, so don't let that happen. Don't let that happen. Good compression, tight, tight, tight. Doing your absolute best all the way through, ladies, all the way
3,
through.
2, 1. Prepare for pelvic tilt with knee toward chest.
Awesome. Okay, tilt with knee toward chest.
Three, 2, 1. Pelvic tilt with knee toward chest.
Okay, compress that core, knee up and then down. So as you march, right, so that's knee toward chest, we're just marching the feet. As you do that, make sure we're not letting the pelvis twist or rotate underneath that movement, right? So there should be no shaking in the hips. Re-squeeze, compress tight. Whoa.
That's halfway.
Yes. Okay, good compression, squeeze tight. Doing your absolute best all the way through. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Again, recompressing. Firm, firm, firm.
3, 2, 1. Prepare for pelvic tilt with bridge.
Awesome. Okay, tilt and bridge.
Three, 2, 1. Pelvic tilt with bridge.
Okay, good squeeze. Remember, core compressed, then squeeze the butt cheeks together nice and tight. Lifting up. Remember, you do not have to overextend. Sometimes what happens is as we go to extend, we start to press way too much and then we arch the back. That's losing our spinal compression. So we don't want to do that. We want to hold and brace your spine through the lift, contracting the glutes. And we do that by thinking we're squeezing a penny with the butt cheeks, right? Nice and tight. Make sure it works. Firm, 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 all the way through. And doing your absolute best. Good, good, good. Squeeze firm, firm, firm.
3, 2, 1. Prepare for shoulder drops.
Hello.
Hello.
Last time we had something like this for Lake Fit, it was
Yeah,
turned
it's
out
garbage.
spam.
3, 2,
Three-sorted
1.
standard.
Yeah.
Shoulder drop.
All right, get ready for those shoulder drops. Okay, as you go through these, right, we're taking the shoulders out of the ears. The whole point of this core training is to figure out how do I brace my spine and create appropriate
That's half
posture, right? So shoulders, appropriate posture, down and back, just like Grandma always told me. Yep. We had two ways this would happen. One, my brother had giant hands and would just wrench my shoulders back. Or Grandma had a ring that she would push right into the center of your back, and oh boy, that'll make you sit up straight. You always were worried when you saw Grandma turn her rock
3,
around to the inside of her hand.
1. Prepare for dead bug.
Someone was about to get it. But that's old school, I think. Effective. Very, very effective.
3, 2,
Not a
1.
word needed to be
Dead
said.
bug.
Okay, good, dead bugs. Remember, you're compressing that core like you're peeling your tailbone off the floor. Again, think there's a box in between your knees and your arms, right? So the legs should be pointed straight up, the arms should be pointed straight up, and only extend so far as you're able to maintain your core. If you go too far, right, and your core loosens up,
That's
up,
halfway.
you're going to start arching your back on the floor. And that's what we are trying to avoid. Okay, so compress, hard, 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 get that tilt, hold nice and firm. Don't let that change as you extend those opposites. Core tight, firm, 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 all the way through. You can do it. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Awesome. Finish strong.
3, 2, 1. Long rest.
Good. Okay. Water break. We've got 2 more rounds, so we're going to make them a little more intense as we go, but this is also an opportunity to learn, connect the brain to your muscle tissue, and see what's not quite working. So as you go through each one of these exercises now, we're going to pull 50% of the weight off of your feet. Okay, so imagine if your feet are on a scale and they weigh 20 pounds, you want to lift 10 pounds. You're not coming fully off the floor yet. You're just doing a tiny bit of pressure with both legs simultaneously, and then make sure that core stays on and the low back doesn't pop up off the floor. Okay?
3, 2, 1. Prepare for pelvic tilt.
All right, just back down onto the floor, get set and ready. 10 seconds, we'll take off again.
3, 2, 1. Pelvic tilt.
Good, good, good. Core compressed, nice and tight. Get shoulder blades down, back, down, back. Every time we tilt, right, we're pulling just a little bit of pressure off the feet. So that's going to fire the hip flexors up front, and as soon as those fire, if it pulls your hips and rolls your low back off the floor, that's bad. You don't want that. Okay, so recompress, hold firm through the core. Because what we're trying to avoid here is pushing your feet into the floor to cause your pelvic tilt. Right? The pelvic tilt should come from just the core. So here I show you what I'm looking for. Right? If it pulls up like that, that's bad. Re-squeeze, re-squeeze. Right? Almost there.
3, 2, 1. Prepare for pelvic tilt with knee fall out.
And if you had the thought, wow, that's a lot harder, perfect. That's exactly what it's supposed to be. Right? It should be difficult. This is not something that you should be able to just breeze through. You should be creating solid core contraction.
Pelvic tilt with knee fall out.
Okay, so crush that Dorito under the spine, hold it tight. As the knees go out to the side and back up, you should be keeping some of the pressure through the hip flexors, right? So core tight, flex the knees just a little bit, knee out to the side, back up, to the other side, out, back up. If you need little breaks in between sides, that's fine. Do what you need, right? This is all about you learning and creating new synapses, the brain to the body and the muscle tissue, making sure that it connects as we create movement, right? Think of all the times we get in and out of a car, the legs going sideways and then coming back in. Those are times we should be bracing our spine, especially through an abduction sitting motion, right? We're sitting down and moving our hips in these directions. So this is very common through our everyday movement patterns.
2, 1. Prepare for pelvic tilt with adduction.
So the idea would be we train this here in order to apply it out there, right?
3,
A good core compression,
2,
squeeze
1.
nice and tight.
Pelvic tilt with adduction.
Right, so Kegel core compression, squeeze the knees, gently start lifting the pressure off the feet, set the feet back down, release the knees, then release the core. Make sure your releases are not all simultaneous. The whole point is that you have full and total control of your core regardless of what you're doing with your hips. Full and total control. Compress, hard, hard, hard.
That's halfway.
Squeeze tight. Firm, 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 firm. And do your absolute best. Keep pressing through. Tight, 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 tight. Good. Firm compression. Firm, firm, firm. Almost there.
3, 2, 1. Prepare for pelvic tilt with knee toward chest.
Okay, tilt with knee toward chest. So again, as you march your feet, the opposite foot should be light. Okay? Should be light.
3, 2, 1. Pelvic tilt with knee toward chest.
Good. Here we go. Tilt with knee toward chest. So that, again, all that is a march. But you're creating that core compression the whole time it comes up and as the foot returns to the floor. What I don't want you to do is keep a tight core on the way up, and then on the way down, as the knee goes down, that back arches off the floor. Okay, that's just going to teach you to continue to do that all day, every day, as you take steps, as you go up and down curbs, as you walk. We don't want that. We want to build core stability through both flexion and extension. Squeeze, tight, tight, tight. Firm compression. Good, good, good. Then doing your best through it, your best. Good.
3, 2, 1. Prepare for pelvic tilt with bridge.
Okay, tilt and bridge. So again, do your core compression first. Kegel, compress, squeeze your butt cheeks really, really tight. Through squeezing the butt cheeks,
3,
that will create
2,
lift.
1.
Right?
Pelvic tilt with bridge.
Because your butt is responsible for taking and extending your hip. That is what the butt cheeks are for. Right? So that is the strongest, most powerful muscle in the body. So we need to use it that way. Right? Create that core compression. Tight, tight, tight. Doing your best through the movement. Your best. Almost there. Almost there.
That's halfway.
Halfway. I guess. If you consider the glass half empty, we're almost there. Okay, good squeeze. Tight, tight, tight. Butt cheeks should be flattening those pennies. Right? Pinch them, pinch them. This is the only one we should be pinching the butt cheeks on. Good. 5 seconds. Come on.
3,
All the way through. You can do it.
1. Prepare for
Awesome.
shoulder drops.
All right, shoulder drops. Again, before you get started, get set. Shoulders back and also out of the ears, right? We're thinking a really long neck.
3,
Pull your shoulders
2,
down.
1.
Then hold up
Shoulder
the ceiling. Right? So as one arm moves overhead, the other hand continues to hold the ceiling. Okay, so go up and over. That's a relaxation of the shoulder. Return by pulling back through your lap. You want to drive the shoulder down, returning the arm, right? I don't want to return the arm and just leave the shoulder hanging out in my ear. Okay? Shoulders are not earrings.
That's halfway.
Create space for those earrings. Think big old long danglies. Don't let them touch your shoulders. Keep them down. Now that's what they need, is like electric shock ones. That would just like hang away from the ear a little bit, right? And then if your shoulder raises up, there, it'll shock you.
3,
That would force
2,
people into position.
1. Prepare for dead bug.
All right, into the dead bug or the bird dog. So I'll show you the bird dog this time around. It just changes the type of stability because it's putting pressure through
3,
your arms and
2,
knees. It's the same
1.
movement, but don't
Dead
cat
bug.
or cow your spine, right? We don't want to arch up and we don't want to sag down. Neutral spine by creating core compression. And then you're just going to complete a extension through each one. And you might not extend all the way. If you extend all the way and you feel your back drop through this, change it, right? Just don't extend as far, but keep the core tight. With time and training, doing this consistently, you will see
halfway.
change in how much you're able to create extension and create movement through that tight core. Okay, so continue, work hard, work hard. Drive through it. You can do it. I know you can. 15 seconds. If you need short breaks, take those short breaks, then jump right back into it. Let's go. 10 seconds. Finish strong. Finish strong. Rest
3,
all the way through.
2,
Good.
1. Long rest.
Awesome. All right, long rest.
Okay, showing her. One of the reasons that Marion Forrest went out to have he has tickets for 3 dog night.
3 Dog Night. I'm sure others know what that is. What is 3 Dog Night?
Right? It's a band.
Band.
Like,
What did they sing?
Joy to the World. Jeremiah was a bullfrog.
Jeremiah was a bullfrog.
Gerald was doing a whole bunch of this morning. Now I can't remember.
That's awesome.
He even knew the lyrics.
3, 2, 1.
Well, that's really
Prepare
fun.
for pelvic tilt.
And Adam said,
Oh, so the
They
joy to the world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
okay.
were old the last time I saw them. Can you imagine?
3, 2, 1. Pelvic tilt.
Hey, they must love doing it. All right, last round. Remember, this last round, I do want the feet to hover if you're able. If you're able. If you're not able to hover your feet and keep your core compressed, that's fine. Do all that you can. Force as much core contraction as you possibly can. If this is easy, you're not doing it right. Squeeze harder. Squeeze harder. Right? Holding firm, firm, firm. It should disrupt your breathing. You shouldn't be able to take nice, easy, deep
That's
breaths.
halfway.
Okay? Compress hard, hard, hard. Crush that Dorito with the low back. Squeeze really, really tight. Firm compression all the way through. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Awesome work. Very good. Very good.
3, 2, 1.
Awesome.
Prepare for pelvic tilt with knee fall out.
Good work. Very good work. Okay, tilt with knee fall out. So again, compress that core. Knee out to the side, bring it back up.
3,
Out to the other side, bring it back up.
1. Pelvic tilt with knee fall out.
Again, only if you're able, hover the feet. Right? But you are trying to create a little bit of contraction through the hip flexors, pulling the knees just a tiny bit. Or if you can hover it, that's fine. You might throw your arms out at about a 45-degree angle, kind of plant your arms into the floor as well to hold, right? Force that core to work, right? Tight squeeze all the way through. You can do it. And if you think you can't,
That's halfway.
you can. You can do it. Oh, good one, Marcia. Right? And it's trying. It's forcing your body to get into positions that it hasn't done before and see if you can get the brain to connect to the movement. Right? Compress the core. Plus move through it. Drive. Tight, tight, tight. Squeeze. Firm. Doing your absolute best all the way through, ladies. Finish strong.
2, 1. Prepare for pelvic
Cool.
tilt with adduction.
Okay, tilt with adduction. So again, compress the core, squeeze that foam roller nice and tight. Firm compression all the way
3,
through.
2, 1. Pelvic tilt with adduction.
Kegel core compression. Squeeze those knees. Lift the feet. Set the feet down. Release the knees. Now release your core. Okay, again, same thing. Compress the core. Squeeze the knees. Lift the feet. Set the feet. Release the knees. Release the core. Again, just keep doing that. Make sure each and every part of the movement is distinct and very separate. Right? Nothing is slurring together. You have full and total control
That's
of each
halfway.
part of the movement. You can do it. You can do it. Right? Reiterate from your brain to your body. You're going to do what I tell you to do. And then sometimes your body speaks back and says, no, I'm not. That's how we know we need to train it more. Right? The more reps we get, even bad reps, if you notice it's a bad rep, that is good. Because your brain will then communicate and try to create new connections of what is a good rep.
Prepare for pelvic tilt with knee toward chest.
Awesome. Okay, tilt with knee toward chest. So again, hover both feet. March one up, back down. Just make sure you don't make it a scissors kick. Right?
3,
Driving both feet
2,
simultaneously.
1. Pelvic tilt with knee toward chest.
Okay, core compress. Hold tight. Hover your feet. Lift one up, back down. Lift the other one up, back down. If you need to take breaks in between, that's fine. Set both feet down, release the core. No matter what, I want the core tight all the way through the movement, doing your absolute best to finish strong. Squeeze, tight, tight, tight. Good, good, good. What are you saying, Marcia? Good thing we have a fan today?
Yeah.
We're working hard. Good, good, good. Your absolute best. Do not finish today without giving your best. Okay? Squeeze, tight, tight. Awesome, almost there. 10 seconds, do your best. Again, re-squeeze the core, compressing through it, doing your absolute best, ladies. Come on.
2, 1.
Good.
Pelvic tilt with bridge.
Awesome. Pelvic tilt with the bridge.
3, 2, 1. Pelvic
we go.
tilt with bridge.
Good, tilt and bridge. Compress that core, squeeze nice and tight. Hold that core tight while you move. It should be a straight lift. Do not peel off the ground like a sticker. Okay? We're not just letting the spine go like a slinky. Okay? None of that. Straight up, straight down. Okay? Straight up, straight down. So when you return to the floor, your back should not have an arch in it. If you could slide your hand underneath the small of your back, you lost your tilt, right? You lost that core compression when you lift it. And that typically is what happens is we try to go through the back more than we go through the hips, okay? So we don't want the low back doing an arch position. We want the core compressed, holding the low back firm, okay? Tight squeeze, 4 seconds.
2, 1. Prepare for shoulder drops.
2 more to go. So remember, do your absolute best through each of these. Shoulders down and back, as far as you can get them. Ideally, your shoulders would be behind your ears towards the floor, right? The outside of the shoulders touching the floor, and way, way down. So if you need to, reach down, back, down, back, down, back. Then get set up. Every time your arm returns pointed towards the ceiling, you should be pulling that shoulder right back down and back. Because what position do you think I would want you in if you're going to push a shopping cart, if you're going to push a stroller, maybe you've got grandkids or kids that you're pushing around, right? We want to be in positions where the shoulders are down and back. If you got to push Daryl over.
That's halfway.
I use my whole body to do that.
Yes, you're going to, right? You're going to use your core. You're going to use compression. You're going to set your shoulders. This is the best place to create any sort of force or torque through the shoulders, especially because very rarely am I going to push against something and not have my core engaged and just arch my back, right? We're not going to do that. If you go to push something, you want to be firm, compressing the core, and then create a drop.
Prepare for dead bug.
Awesome. Dead bug or bird dog, whichever one you feel you need. Make sure you're doing that one. But either way, compress your spine. Make sure it's nice and neutral.
2, 1.
And then create your extensions. Again, as you extend, try not to let your hips shift or move, right? Hold and frame it. Hold and frame. Good, Marcia. Nice bird dogs. Again, holding that tight, re-squeeze the core each time you get ready to create that movement. Compress, firm, don't let it go.
That's halfway.
All the way through. Squeeze, tight, 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 tight. Do your absolute best. Remember, continue to compress and control. Very good. Oop. Good, Marcia. Come leveling out. Nice.
3,
Found that balance and
2,
control. I like it.
long rest.
Awesome. Hey, very, very good work, ladies. Love it. Keep after it, right? Make sure you take the training today, apply it throughout your day. So look at those times. Maybe find one time where you make a movement and you catch yourself going, oh, man, you know what? I didn't brace my core at all through that movement. Because the whole point is that we take this training, translate it into our everyday lives. Because even if you do come every single day, Monday through Friday, that's only 5 hours to work on your body and your position. That means you've got 163 to go screw it all up, right? Every hour that you're not here. So the more we can apply this in your daily routines and daily movement patterns, the better you feel, the more you move well, the better you're going to live, right? Yes, sleeping is the one time I'm not going to have you worry about it, okay? Otherwise, keep moving, have fun, enjoy your day. I will see you guys again tomorrow. We're doing a total body day, so we're going to take the whole week's worth of instruction and cram it into one day, okay? So join us for that. Would love to see you there. We'll talk to you later. I am here to help you move well so you live well.
Oftentimes, I have clients come to me and say that they feel like they have ribs that are out. This is caused by muscles creating undue tension on the ribs and vertebrae. The first muscles to focus on when we do our work is the latissimus dorsi. This muscle originates from the bottom 6 thoracic vertebrae to the sacrum, then spans past the lower 3 to 4 ribs and inserts in the humerus. Start with a foam roller placed on the thoracic spine. You're going to begin by pressing your elbow up to the ceiling and then dropping down to the floor. I like to imagine holding a tray on my elbows that I'm pushing to the ceiling and then relaxing to the floor. Repeat this for 7 to 10 repetitions and then move on to overhead extension. While on the thoracic spine, starting with your palms towards the knees and arms straight, extend the arms overhead, pointing your thumbs towards the floor. To intensify each side, simply roll over onto one side. Try to relax in the tender points. Complete 7 to 10 repetitions with a foam roller in 3 different parts of the ribs. Now we're going to work the erector spinae and transverso spinalis. These muscles line your vertebrae on both sides. The erector spinae is deep, yet even deeper spinalis. The deepest muscles connected to the vertebrae are the rotatories and in the low back, the intertransversarii. Start with 2 lacrosse balls and place them by the neck. The lacrosse balls should be touching as you begin to roll your body up, forcing the lacrosse balls down your spine. Do this slowly. You should only press further if you can fully tolerate your body pressure on top of the lacrosse balls. It could take anywhere from 30 seconds to 1 minute before that muscle relaxes. Then you can press with the lacrosse balls down a little bit further. You may need to work gradually through this because your muscle will be so tender you can't tolerate all of your body weight's pressure into the lacrosse balls. In order to create a greater release, do not rush this. It should take cumulatively close to 15 minutes to work your way down the entire spine.